Here's today's question, which is worth 45 marks. One of the highest amount of marks going for a single question. Right off the bat, we're given a stem and leaf plot showing the number of copies of a newspaper, the Newry News, that was sold each week over 17 weeks. In part A, we're told that the range of this data is 39 and asked to find the value of P. Just to be clear, the range of data is a difference between the highest and the lowest values. Looking at our stem and leaf plot, we can see that the lowest value is 8 and the highest value is 40 something. Since we don't know this value, we're going to call it x. Since we're told the range is 39, we can write x minus 8, which is the highest value minus the lowest value, is equal to 39. Adding 8 to both sides, we get x equals 47. Since we know that 4p represents 47, we can say that p equals 7. Part A is worth the first 10 marks. Moving on to B part 1, we have to find the mode of this data. The definition of mode is the value that shows up the most frequently in the set of data. So to work this out, we just need to look at our stem and leaf plot. When we do this, we can see that the value 19 shows up 3 times in a row. This is the most frequent value in the data, so it must be our mode. In part 2, we're asked to find the median, or the middle value of the data. Since we know that there's 17 values in the stem and leaf plot, we can add 1 to 17 and divide it by 2, which gives us the 9th value. This means that our 9th value will be our median. From our stem and leaf plot, we can see that the 9th value represents 21 copies of the newspaper. So our median is 21. For getting part B right, you get a total of 10 marks. In part C, we're told that the sum of this data is 431. This means that all the values added together is 431. You could find this out by adding up all the values, but they make it easy for us by telling us the answer. We have to use this fact to find the mean of the data, which is just another word for the average. To find the mean or average, we take the sum and divide it by the total number of values. In this case, we divide 431 by 17, which gives us 25.35. Correct to one decimal place, this gives us a mean of 25.4 copies. Part C alone is worth 5 marks. Moving on to part D, we get some extra information that on the 18th week, there are a lot more copies of the newspaper sold than any other week. In D part 1, we again have to find the mode of the number of copies sold. Since 19 is still the most frequent number of newspapers sold, 19 copies is still our mode. In part 2, we again have to find the median number of copies sold. However, instead of having 17 total values, this time we have 18. So we take 18 and add 1 and divide it by 2, which gives us 9.5. This is between the 9th and 10th value, so we have to add the 9th and 10th values together and divide it by 2 to find our median. From our stem and leaf plot, we can see that the 9th and 10th values are 21 and 25. So when we add 21 and 25 and divide by 2, we get 23 copies, which is the new median. In part 3, we're told that the mean number of copies sold over the 18 weeks was 28.5, and we have to work out the number of copies sold in the 18th week. We worked out earlier that the mean is the total number of copies sold divided by the total number of values. We know that the total number of copies sold over 17 weeks was 431, and let's call the number of copies sold in the 18th week x. So the total number of copies sold is 431 plus x, and the total number of values or weeks is 18, so we can let 431 plus x divided by 18 equals 28.5, or the mean. Now we can solve for x to find the number of copies sold in the 18th week. When we rearrange our formula like this to get x on its own, we work out that x is 82 copies. This represents the number of copies sold in the 18th week, which is what we are looking for. If you get all 3 parts of D correct, you get 20 marks. And that's the end of our question. I hope you guys found this solution video helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again.